in January 2004. And then the work started. And what Ray knows is that you can have all these beautiful, and all of you, so many creative people here who are also business people, right? You're running your business. You're doing what needs to get done. And what we all know is we can be very creative and have a blueprint and plan for how we are going to make the world more beautiful and better. But we also have to focus, if we're going to achieve that, on what some might consider to be the mundane. So for me, as the elected DA, it meant dealing with the fact that in 2004 in San Francisco, 2/3 of my lawyers didn't have email. It meant dealing with the fact that we needed to, this is an office that puts people in jail. 2/3 of my lawyers didn't have email. It meant dealing with the fact we needed to grow the budget from $30 to $40 million. We needed to put in place training programs and recruit the best and the brightest. We needed to have a gun policy. And in case there was any ambiguity about why, I wrote as the first line of our gun policy, guns kill. And we will therefore take those crimes seriously. And it is as a result of that early focus that we increased the conviction rates in San Francisco to the highest they've been in almost 15 years. We've sent twice as many serious and violent felons to state prison. And we have increased the gun conviction rate from 43% to over 90%. But that's where the work started, not where it ended. Because truly, if we are going to be smart on crime, it will only be because we recognize we cannot simply and only react to crime after it occurs. We must also be invested in preventing crime before it occurs. And that's why I created a reentry unit in my office, which is one of the only reentry units of a DA's office in the country, focused in particular on the 18 through 24-year-old, first-time, non-violent, low-level drug sales offender. Why that population? Why 18 through 24? When I was in college at Howard University, we were all 18 through 24, and we were called college kids. But when you're in the system and you turn 18, you are considered to be an adult, period, without any regard to the fact that that is the very phase of life in which we have invested billions of dollars in this world in places called colleges and universities, knowing that's the prime phase of life during which we mold and shape and direct the human being to become a productive adult. So this was the population I focused on through an initiative we designed called Back on Track. And here's what I did. I got on the phone with my friends in the business community. Got on the phone with folks in the labor community, the building trades guys. Called up some of our community nonprofit organizations. And we dealt with the fact that in this population, many needed to get their high school equivalency degree and be enrolled in city college. Most of them had no employable skills. So we needed to enroll them in the apprenticeship programs offered by the plumbers and the carpenters. Addressed the fact that many of them are parents who have a natural desire to parent their children, but not necessarily the skills. So we brought on the community folks to help them with that and introduce them to this other organization called the PTA. And as a result of this focus over the last 4 years, Back on Track has reduced the reoffense rate for this population from 54% to less than 10%. It's the best of luck. I believe it breaks his last. But everyone else can do it at the end of my speech. But that success with Back on Track really brings me to one of the main reasons that I am running to become the next Attorney General for the state of California. When I created Back on Track, I had people who said to me, well, Kamala, if this is a good way to do this and deal with this issue, why hasn't it been done before? There were people who said, what gives you the authority to do it? So you know what had to happen? The National DA's Association had to finally see that what we were doing worked, and so they designated it as a model for the country. Then the United States Department of Justice last month designated it as a model for the country around innovation in law enforcement. And then last week, now get this, last week because I had some people say to me, well, where is it written you could do this? And so, I'm pounding my forehead against this, like, what is this? Let's be like artists and imagine what can be, right? So fine, you need to see it in writing, paint by the numbers, okay. So I wrote a bill, and I took it up to Sacramento, and Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger passed it, so back on track. He's now in the penal code of California as a murder. And so, this is why I'm running, to become the next Attorney General. California is such a phenomenal place. It is the place that is the home to Venice, California. It is the place that is the home to so much that is creative and unique and special and wonderful. And in that way, we know that we are looking at, in many ways, some of the best of what the world has to offer and some of the best of times. But we are also looking at many challenges. And as a state, I will share with you, for example, we are looking at the fact that on an annual basis, we release 120,000 prisoners because they have served their time, but within 3 years of their release, 70% reoffend. It's 70% recidivate. It's the highest recidivism rate in the country. And I will tell you that it is not only a failure in terms of a systems design issue, it is also a failure when we look at a state that is on the verge of bankruptcy. We have shown how this issue can be addressed. We have shown how we can reduce recidivism. And this approach to criminal justice must be applied across the state. And that's one of the main reasons I'm running to become the next Attorney General for the state of California. I'm also running because, like many of you, when we travel throughout the state, we'll find that there are a whole lot of communities of people who've been doing everything they were supposed to do to live the American dream. They've been holding down 1 and 2 jobs. They bought a home like they were supposed to. They've been paying their taxes on time, paying their mortgage on time, paying their bills on time. And now they're finding they're out of work. And there are predators coming in the form of mortgage brokers to financial institutions, who are taking and stripping them of the few remaining assets they have and their dignity. And it has to be the Attorney General of the state of California that says this is a crime that should not go without punishment.